not understatement, but like I didn't take it seriously enough. And this was like way before
Oh yeah, I was tracking
anything
it.
even was close to really happening.
I was tracking it for a while.
But
Like, it
is that
really
because
was.
you're all about like survival shit and doomsday stuff?
Especially at that time, I was actually really weirdly enough, I was watching like all these prepping channels right
Appalachian
before.
family, remember that shit? We're
Oh yeah,
watching an Appalachian family.
but even weirder was that I was watching all these prepping channels maybe like 3 weeks before, and I think it was just kind of coincidental. Actually, all of them really called it. They called this like as soon as it got spotted in like November of like 2019 that like this is gonna hit us fucking hard, and they were like right by at least like 6 months.
Yeah,
I didn't hope they were right. Like,
I always I've always like been into and respected conspiracy theory stuff just because a lot of times it pans out and it's not even conspiracy theory. It's more like it's just stuff that people want to suppress so it's not well known
oh yeah, oh
or
yeah.
make
So
it look like delusional or freakish so people don't take it seriously and then it's too late by the time they
yeah,
do.
oh yeah. So we're in here. We're live. I got my thumbnail up. I got Lizzo on the screen here. I got when Lizzo dressed up like Baby Yoda on the screen. Got Mario, John Leguizamo, Kathleen
Wait,
Kennedy.
hold on. You can't just like say something like that and then not explain
Oh yeah, search. I
what do you
mean, I
mean?
guess maybe that's the best spot to
No,
start.
I don't want that on my search history. You're gonna have to do that
I'll
for
put
me.
it on
Sorry.
my I'll put it on my
My I
my
have a
searching.
setting on my browser. There's a no Lizzo search policy, you know.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh wow, that is some fucked up shit. That is some nightmare fuel.
Yeah. So let me see. Yeah, this is what it looked like. It was in
And look at
People
the DJ
magazine.
behind them. They have this like really evil, weird, sinister face on. It's
I guess
creepy.
I guess
Can
this
you
is
can you
why they
expand and blow
casted
that
her.
thing up?
I don't know, but
Hold
I
on,
get.
go back to can you see the DJ?
Yeah, I see him. He looks like
I like
Sting from WCW or something.
yeah, it looks like Sting or like Kiss type of thing.
Yeah, like oh, I get. You know what? I bet you.
I like the like uh I like the gesture they chose to use. Makes him look extra soggy. Oh,
she's a,
nice. That's
she's a little bit bigger than Baby Yoda, just by a little bit.
well, this is Baby Yoda, you know, fully grown, how they're supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh, people are taking pictures with
This
Lizzo.
is like this is the healthy Baby Yoda, full grown adult. You know,
So this is what got her the casting was doing this. I feel like this was it.
that's you know,
Pretty
what
sad.
more do you want?
I guess
It's like
so.
my aunt a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Star Wars is first on the
Do you say
list.
aunt or aunt?
I say aunt, but I guess I like the people who say aunt. I feel like that sounds more
I
official.
just feel like ant gets confused with the insect, and aunt sounds pompous, but you at least know the difference.
Yeah. So speaking of Lizzo and Mandalorian and all this Baby Yoda stuff, there's some news with Star Wars, of course, as usual. There's always Star Wars news.
Well, they do a lot. They do a lot of shit.
Yeah, well, the newest news is that the guy who plays Boba Fett was not happy with a lot of things that happened on his show and just kind of in general. He was talking about he had some quotes here. Let me read these quotes. He's talking about cutbacks and other things. He said, "I think there's a few changes going on. We all also have come under the big umbrella known as Disney now. So it's one of those yeah, exactly.
It's a nice veiled shot.
So it's one of those conversations where it's like, oh, we have a few changes, we have a few cutbacks. I mean, it makes sense because Disney is not doing well. They are really not. None of their stuff is really panning out. The Marvel stuff's not doing well. The Star Wars stuff's not doing well. It's interesting. And then even
It's always interesting to see how people react though in the face of failure and all that. You know,
well,
whether they take it on like themselves or they start scapegoating people or blaming shit. You know,
well, it's even like I hear John Favreau is already he's probably done with the show just because of I think all the bullshit with Disney. And I think
Do
he
you
was
remember that fucking Amy Schumer special that everyone criticized, and then they had the comments taken down? Like, how many other times is that happening over and over and over again for every other movie? Didn't
well, it
Wonder
was
Woman
happening
they did the same
for
thing?
Rings of
And
Power.
Captain Marvel?
That was happening a lot for
Yeah,
Rings of
Rings of
Power.
Power was a newer one. But,
They
like,
were,
this is not new. I'm
yeah,
going back a little
yeah, it's
bit.
true. They were saying,
The Captain Marvel shit too. They
yeah,
did the same thing. It's
they were
like a
saying,
trend. It's not
yeah,
even like
it
it's not
is.
even subtle at this point. It's just like a common thing that they do over and over. It's just a regular practice. If the
Yeah,
reviews are bad, they try and get them hidden or like blocked. I bet they have bots and people who just go out and get the people posting like critical good reviews removed, so nobody actually has like good information coming in to not see the shitty ass movie.
yeah. So that was happening for Rings of Power. They actually they suspended reviews because Amazon does own IMDb, so they were able
It's
to
so corrupt.
yeah, it is. And it's true. It's like if you had a good critical review, they actually were if it was like under a certain amount of stars, they were not even showing it. People were like talking about that, how their review was either taken down or just wasn't even populating on the site. Pretty fucked
I
up.
mean, it sounds like nothing, but there's a
It's
lot of like
it's like free speech being taken
manipulation
away.
going on. Yeah, I mean, like it's almost like political, and where like any like opposing party, whatever they say, you silence. It sounds almost like communist a little bit, where like you control the media and everything's looking good for you, despite the overwhelming consensus of people who think it's shit that are just being deleted or removed or blocked or silenced or taken down,
Oh
over
yeah,
and over
exactly.
again.
And then even with this with the Star Wars stuff, the Boba Fett guy, he was supposed to be in Mandalorian and said no one fucking called him. So it's like he's probably promised these certain things and then no one. And he even talked about. It's funny. He did not like what they did with his own show. He said how well that Mando guy stole a few chapters of my book, and it was painful watching him turn up with some new black lethal sword and destroyed everyone. It was basically the last two episodes of the Boba Fett show were Mandalorian episodes, and kind of really dominated it. And if you see the new season of Mandalorian, it's really focused on all these different Mandalorians, and they all have the armor. You would think Boba Fett would probably be in it. So he got cut out, and he's not super happy about it. I don't know if you ever see the prequel movies?
I mean, this guy's like kind of a know nothing,
Oh, he
whatever.
is. Yeah. It's just he was in the
Maybe
prequels.
nostalgia, maybe some nostalgia. He's not worth paying or keeping around at all. The amount of money you could get from recasting him with like some younger, better looking or whatever, like it's so much more substantial than having that limited fan base of people who gave a shit about him being in any of the other movies.
Yeah. I mean, all I'll say is like there's two people who are really making the Mandalorian show, and it was John Favreau, who I think was like doing it really well. And even like the first, like I think the good stuff from Mandalorian are from John Favreau, and then the other guy was Dave Filoni, who's basically like he did. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels, all these like cartoon Star Wars things. Have you heard of those?
Yeah, you showed me that on. It was like on some Nickelodeon thing, wasn't it?
It was Disney or Disney XD, but the main guy who was making it was this guy
Yeah, but
Dave
it
Filoni.
felt like having Nickelodeon, like
Well, it does. Yeah, it has that vibe. And that's what the new season
yeah,
of
I didn't mind
Mandalorian
that stuff
feels like.
too because they were actually kind of like violent and weird, even though it was probably more for kids and stuff. Sort of
Yeah,
like
it's
those
like
X-Men,
yep,
like
the
the
X
early
Men
X-Men
animated,
stuff with the purple who are those like machine people that fuck over the X-Men?
the
Uh
Sentinels.
yeah, the Sentinels, yeah.
Yeah, the Night
They
of the Sentinels, man.
really did a shitty job of having them in the films. Like those really could
Yeah,
have
they're
been so
awesome.
much more amazing and like devastating and violent and like crazy in the actual like newer shit they made. They underplayed them into like these just weird, almost like minion fucking things. When in the animated stuff, they were so much more impactful as an adversary. Like every time they would fight, either someone would die or like lose a limb or like be in a coma for a week. You know what I mean? Like every time they would fight, it'd be so much more devastating than just having a bunch of bots show up and you fight them and kill them. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I remember like the Sentinels, they killed off Morph in like the first fucking episode. Like the first episode, the guy Morph gets killed. He was the guy who can like more, and
I
he
know
was a cool
it's
X-Men
good.
character too.
It like sets the tone for the entire series that like you can't fuck with these motherfuckers. They're way more powerful than you, and you need to almost just like think of ways to get around. Just
Oh
like
yeah,
going
they like fuck
like
up Beast
one
and then
for
they
one
kill
and trying to
Morph.
fight them.
I remember that. They fuck up Beast and they kill Morph. Like the first fucking episode. But yeah,
You know
it's
what's
like
funny?
they were good.
There's this meme that I've seen over and over again from that show with Wolverine looking at a
Oh, like
picture.
the picture. Yeah. They even made an action figure where
You've
he's
seen that
look.
before, right?
Yeah, they made an action figure of him looking at the like. I think I have it where it's like the pictures in the. It's like part of an accessory for the action figure, like the picture itself. It's become that
It's
popular.
weird how like it's weird how that single moment and like frame has become like it just like completely been revisited and relived through way like younger versions of the people who ever saw that shit. You know, like it's
Yeah.
interesting and strange how meme culture works, how it regurgitates something that's not even like for most people that nostalgic probably. Like that's not a big like part of the franchise compared to all the movies and stuff that we had and then the Fastbinder Magneto shit and all that kind of stuff. That
Oh
show
yeah.
was like probably not well known or well remembered. I mean, at the time it felt
No, it is.
pretty
It is. It
popular.
really
So
is.
like the Spider-Man one.
Everyone remembers that. Fucking theme song is really good. But speaking of that, like that style of X-Men show, it does remind me of like Clone Wars, Rebels, and that kind of stuff for the Star Wars. But here's the problem: is that the new season of Mandalorian kind of turned into that, which is it's like I guess it's a good thing for kids, but for anyone who's like watching it who liked the first and second season, it, like doesn't feel the same because now it just feels like it's Dave Filoni's show making like a cartoon. It's basically a cartoon show, so it feels more like kid focused. Which I guess that's probably what they want to play into with money, right? Making money, you're gonna go to
I'm
kids.
thinking for TV, they probably want to cater more for children, and then for movies, they want to still somewhat cater to children, but make sure that the parents that have to bring them there can sit through it.
And I will say, like, I watched the Boba Fett show, and it was really fucking bad. The best episodes were the episodes that this guy was getting pissed off at. The best episodes were easily the best episodes where he wasn't in it. Like, not that it's his fault. It just
Yeah,
I
I mean,
feel
this
like
guy
you
is
know.
like, this guy's lucky that he was even in those fucking old movies and they cared to bring him up again because honestly, they shouldn't have even bothered to have him attached to anything new and just recast it from the ground up. Like they did with, that fucking Ray character and all that shit.
Well,
Just
it was
draw up some fake
fans,
fucking
man.
person to fit in.
It was fans because all fans wanted him back because for some reason fans like the prequels just because how bad the sequel series is. So they're like, oh, we want to get the guy who played Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones. So that's where this guy's from. You know, he was in the prequels.
Yeah,
That's
but
really all it
he,
is.
he has like two lines.
I mean, he basically just exactly. He's just kind of there. Well, I mean, there's
He's like a pawn
clones,
in the plot and then completely forgotten.
but also like all like
And you
again
don't
all
even see his face.
no,
Or
but
no,
you
you do see his
do,
face. I
and
forgot.
he's the clones.
Yeah,
Remember
never
all the
mind. I forgot
clones,
because his son is then involved, right?
but then also all the clones are based off how he looks. So you see him. He kind of pops up in those animated series a lot. So
Yeah. No, I get it.
yeah. So it's like the
Man,
fans want to see him because he's sort of attached to it. Not that he was good in it, because he absolutely wasn't.
I don't know. I just feel
Wasn't
like it's reaching.
he wasn't good or bad. It was just kind of a nothing character.
That's what I feel like that whole like franchise and market is like. They're just drudging up such dog shit. They have constant stuff that the guy who was the clone, it has to have like his whole thing. It's like,
Right. They don't have, dude. It's Star
let's
Wars
dig up
is
like some side
creatively
character
bankrupt.
nobody fucking remembers and make a whole TV series about him just to keep pumping out more fucking Star Wars shit every fucking year.
Right.
It's like,
Yep.
remember
Yeah.
C5 8200 and how great he was in that movie?
IG-11,
no.
the fucking robot bounty hunter, is a big character in The Mandalorian. A fucking random character in
That's what I'm saying.
Empire Strikes Back. Like they don't have anything else
to the fucking depths of the earth. Like it's just hollow ground at this point. It's
well,
like
that's and I've heard
you put in
yeah.
is like Pet Cemetery.
And I've heard Red Letter Media talk about it, where Star Wars is creatively bankrupt. All they have is like their 3 movies that they can go off of, and they have to like include all of it. Where it's like Star Trek has.
Think of that new Picard show?
They love it. They love it. They love it. Yeah, everyone's been loving it. Yeah. It's pretty unanimously liked by Star. It's like shocking. It's probably the last, which is sad, but probably the last good things that like ever comes out of Star Trek. That's the end of it. It's also like a nice end.
Why is that?
Well, because it's like they keep
die?
No, they just keep going to like producers who really don't know what to do.
Patrick Stewart. Once he's dead, what are they gonna do?
Well, I mean, he's done. This was his last season, so it's like this is all done, and it had all
CGI him up, right?
No, I don't think so. I think that's the end of it.
You don't think? Yo, do you think? You know how like we have posthumous music albums from like Tupac and Biggie? You don't think we'll have like posthumous hologram episodes with like Patrick Stewart in season 245 of Star Trek bullshit, whatever,
I hope not.
You don't think they just recycle these motherfuckers like tracks on an album?
I hope not, but I really hope that like Hollywood sees what was good about Picard and keeps perpetuating it, but I doubt it. But the thing that was good was that you took away the studios and you had someone who cared about the franchise actually make it, and that's why it was good. Because someone who made it cared about it. So if that guy keeps making Star Trek shows, which I don't think he will, it'll probably be good. Terry Matalas is the guy's name. Did a really good job.
By the way, I was thinking of like a fake commentary thing we should do where we like play we're ignorant to Sing the Whale, and just have like a friend tell us that it's a comedy.
Well, I finally saw
like tons of laughs.
I finally saw Red Letter Media talk about it.
The Whale, thinking it's like a Fairley Brothers movie the entire time.
Well, I watched the Red Letter Media episode where they talk about it, and I laughed at all the same parts they talked about. That was like exactly all the same parts I laughed.
It's the audio. The audio makes it that much worse.
But it's funny. I said that I think like 3 weeks.
Fart sounds every time his back gets punched.
I said it like 3 weeks before they talked about it. That was exactly all the parts I laughed at. Like exactly.
I remember, I remember messaging you saying like,
so I'm not wrong on that.
It felt like the same moments were way too like the audio was just weird. Like it didn't fit what was going on, and the tone was confusing.
Yeah, it was
like
just
the whole part where he's trying to kill himself. It's almost like it's hard to tell like he's trying to kill himself or he's just like going on another binge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I felt I felt very validated by it because I kept thinking like, am I the only one who thinks this movie kind of sucks? Like, because I thought the movie sucked. Like the movie sucked, but I really did like everyone acting in it.
You've seen enough shit to have like a pretty good.
Yeah, but you hear these critics and they like
just
fucking
idea of like everything coming out and everything before it, just like a general consensus of film release, And,
and
when you tell me something's like good or bad, I pretty much trust it. I don't want to bother watching Rings of Power
Oh yeah,
episode 4.
I mean, that's where I will say the Picard show is fucking good.
Like, I just know, like, you telling me that it's dog shit, I'm gonna stop and not watch like 8 more episodes and waste my time for the next 40 hours or whatever it takes to get through that shit.
Yeah, like the Picard show, I feel like if you don't know Star Trek and you watch that fucking show, it probably will make you want to go back and watch the old Next Generation whole seasons and all that shit. Like it's that good. Like, it's that good, which is good for the whole franchise.
That's like the kind of general like mindset I'm trying to do when I create or like post stuff is like I want to have like a good foundation of what's happening, but then also like not completely milk the shit out of it and keep doing the same thing over and over again, you know?
Well, what I've been seeing has been good. That post was good. That post was good. Definitely look better on the website. But
I wonder is there a way to connect like a Google Doc that's being updated daily to a post that then will reflect the changes instantaneously? Or does that take like because you have to link like 3 different programs and sites all at the same time?
Yeah, I don't know if
like,
you can do that. How does
that work floating wise?
I mean, I don't know if you can embed it to a site.
You have to like interlink with the developers of each place and then have them all correlate together to build a formula that will, like, when I do something, it'll automatically change there.
I don't know if you can do that. If you could, like, that's the thing is if you can embed that document, then you could. But I don't know if you can embed a document.
Like, almost machine learning where you can have inputs that will translate across every platform at the same time instantly. Like, how do they, like, when I watch something, how do I know all the stats are accurate and, you know, to the T, like, happening, you know?
All right, so there is a way to embed.
Isn't that the same way of converting it to all the sites? Is it instead of like it being
let me send you something.
posted,
I'm gonna
you can hold it off.
I think I figured out what you're looking for.
Published.
I think I figured out what you're looking for. This might help you out too a lot. Basically, it's gonna be you're gonna be copying code.
I need to get more into like data science and just ways of building stacks to where instead of doing all this manual shit, I can have it just populate instead right away. You know, I need to cut out but at the same time though, I like to have control over it, like complete control. But then also like I want to delegate stuff also, you know. It's a hard you know, like I don't know how to put it. Like I don't want to relieve the ability to post and update stuff to somebody else freely, you know. But I don't also want to be like some domineering overseer that people can't do whatever they want at the same time.
Well, check out that link I sent you. That might be able to help. I would save that YouTube video just to kind of take a. Well, I didn't take a look at it, but that could help you embed right onto that blog post. But looking back at the tomorrow, I feel bad for this Boba Fett guy because he obviously was promised to be into the show, and no one fucking.
For him, man. I feel
no one wanted to put him in. Oh, I feel bad for him, and
feel like
it's funny.
He really lucked out.
No, he lucked out, but he's got a good opinion.
Somewhere for like $5 a piece instead of having some regurgitated character for a franchise. You know what I mean? Like, he got lucky.
He did, but at least he's saying like, "Hey, like my show kind of sucked, and they sort of ruined my character." He said like, "I'm sure this guy is ruining my show."
Shit,
well, he said, but I couldn't say anything because
it's hard to be critical when you're not putting the work in to like produce it. You know,
but he even said
if somebody.
But I couldn't say anything because I'm not a writer, so I have to bear it, I guess.
It's like, hey, I wrote your whole life story, and this is how it looks. And then you're gonna sit there and like micro fucking analyze every single part of it and say like, I don't like this, I don't want that. You know, like
no one's giving him that. No one's giving him that fucking pull.
Like, what he wanted and what he didn't want based on how much money he generated from the older franchises. He's just an
Right.
extra almost.
Basically, he's basically just like a model. You know, like you're a model, like at that point where you're the Clone Wars
Exactly. He's
model.
like he's almost like a glorified NPC.
Pretty much.
You
But
know,
I
instead
do
of
like that he's
having
got a
just
opinion
come
though.
back with his default setting appearance, he had like 3 lines and a couple, well, no,
Yeah,
he actually
basically.
he did have a battle sequence and stuff.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
said
you
a
know
few
what? Actually,
lines. Like he said a
I'm
few
underplaying
things.
his role. Didn't he fight who's the guy from
He's got his head
what's
cut
that
off
hero
by
movie?
fucking Obi-Wan in like a second. Like, and then
I know, but
the little kid sees
that's a
it.
big part. They should have made that battle a little longer. Like
Yeah.
give him like more of respect as it's like someone who can fight back instead of just being done in like 20 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the fact that he's kind of giving shit to his own show though, which is funny. But I do like. I mean, because it didn't turn out that great. So it's a good call by him. Moving on, we're talking about The Witcher. There's some new Witcher news. So, The Witcher just dropped a trailer today for their third season, and Henry Cavill's gonna be out of it. And I give also kind of similar to that. I give him full support. The reason he left is because none of the writers are sticking to the source material. So he didn't like that they're not using any of the source material, and then he's just kind of done. So it's kind of awesome. He's just
I
like,
don't
fuck it.
I don't I don't know much about The Witcher other than it being like a weird video game where they had a lot of violence and
Sex.
kind of
Yeah.
strange, yeah, like strange sex montages, almost like Grand Theft Auto, when they started implementing in strip clubs and all that kind of shit. Like to me that's a very similar parallel. When GTA added in strip clubs, The Witcher kind of immediately was like, you know what? We need to take this format and apply it to this like Lord of the Rings ripoff bullshit
It's
without.
different though.
I
There is a book series attached to this before the
didn't know that.
games.
Yeah, can you
Yeah.
like give me a little bit of rundown on The Witcher because I'm pretty ignorant to all of it. I
Yeah,
know it
so
was like a game that I thought was kind of weird, and I saw some clips, but that's about it.
it does have a history of, like a sword and sorcery type novel that I think it's a Russian writer. He's Polish actually. So it has this kind of Slavic vibe to it, which is really different. I have to say it's like really cool and kind of it plays into the game. And then from that, there's a bunch of book series. Then they made a game series, and I think they were really early to making games. Like really could have been early computer games had a Witcher series, and then now there's like I think we're on Witcher 4, whatever the game, or maybe it was the third one. But the games are really like they're also it's different from Lord of the Rings because it's more Slavic and it's more like dark. So you have a lot more like witches and like demons. It's almost like what's that? It's almost like that game that people really liked recently. What was that game? Shit.
Harry Potter.
No, 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 no. It's another one that people really liked and they were playing it a lot. Elden Ring? Elden Ring?
That's not new.
But no, but what was kind of new? What was the game before that? It was like from that series. It was like a Elden Ring. What was that from? That's from Dark Souls? Like Dark Souls? You ever heard of that?
Oh, Bloodborne.
Yeah, like that whole vibe is like similar to the Witcher, where it's like this kind of dark demony vibe to it, but also like a lot of sex.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean it's good. Then a lot of like
I get the connection
it's
now
different.
because Bloodborne is like a huge franchise, especially on Twitch and for streaming.
And I saw the first season of The Witcher and it was good, except for like it kind of veered off too much. Like if they just made the whole show like this episode he deals with this monster, it would have been a lot cooler. because that's basically what he is. He's like,
What did it feel like? Was it like sci-fi level, or is it more like HBO Game of Thrones type level?
it's like kind of,
Because
it's
I
like
kind
a,
of want to check it out. It
it's a
sounds
strict,
interesting.
it's really in between that. It's like really super in between that. That's the best way to put it. Because
Well, that's good. I kind of like
yeah, it
that.
is
That
because
it's
it's
got the high and low at the same time, and then if it can balance it with some
yeah,
good writing, then you can overcome the shitty like CGI stuff at times, probably.
yeah. And then they made an origin story show to The Witcher, which it's like this shows you like when they don't have Harry Cavill or Henry Cavill and they just like go with what they want to do. Look at the percentage of this shit. 30% critic score, 13% audience. This is like one of the worst shows I've heard of. Like,
Yeah, but what is this like? What are these scores based on? Are there examples of movies that have gotten scores like this and gone on to be really good, or is this
not
complete death blow where
not
you don't
typically.
even recognize it?
Not typically like this. I mean, there are some movies that were critically panned that I do like, like I'm trying to think of something like it, but I mean, The Big Lebowski wasn't liked at the time at all. There's a lot of movies like that that weren't liked at the time.
Well, that's the difference from financial success and critical.
Yeah, it it's true. It's like but then it's like I don't know, there's a
Like
weird
that's
thing that goes on today.
that's like comparing Punch Drunk Love to There Will Be Blood. You know,
Yes.
it's
But
like
there
one movie is completely different uh market and demographic, and the other is like it's hopefully gonna make money. Like, but it's the same guy, and I feel like that's I don't know. I wonder if
but there are good
like in
movies
sports
that were
when you sign a
panned.
contract for like 5 years, you have stipulations. I wonder if like when you sign a contract with a studio as a director, if they even do that, you have
Some
like
do,
movies
yeah.
that you're gonna have to make just to make money, and then that'll allow you to make the weird shit that might not make money, but critically is going to be um love.
Right. Well, I've heard of directors talk about this where they're like, it's like the one for me, one for you kind of mentality where this one's for the studios, this one's for me. Like I can see that with some directors. You can kind of visually see
Yeah,
that.
that'd be an interesting thing to track and
I think Spielberg has that.
possibly, but I feel like that'd be a good like thing to track, and then possibly you can bet on. Like
Yeah.
who's the for me guy who's going to have the for you that's going to make a shit ton of money before people realize it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, also here's a list I just brought up of movies that were critically panned but were great movies. So Apocalypse Now was critically panned.
Yeah, because people hated the budget. People thought it was so bloated and self uh, absorbed and pretentious.
Yeah, they said intellectually empty, emotionally obtuse. I don't know. I don't think it's not my favorite movie, but I like it.
It's really not something I want to watch or put myself through again
Yeah,
at
I
all.
agree. It's not like something to go. It's like a
Maybe
Schindler's
what
List. Are
they're
you gonna go
saying is
watch
like
Schindler's
as
List?
great as it is, it's not something I ever want to watch again. So let's have that in the back of our minds every time.
Blade Runner was critically panned, which I feel like is ridiculous. The movie's great. That is something I'll watch again. Like I do like it,
Yeah,
especially it has a
I
nice
love
feeling.
like how it almost feels like a It reminds me of what's that fucking movie with Scarlett Johansson?
Lost in translation a little bit. It does the vibe.
No, no,
Um.
no, no, not Lost in Translation. The where she's an alien.
Oh, Under the Skin.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like Under the Skin, where the visuals and the just editing and cinematography and everything other than like the acting and lines make up for the lack of a plot or like a huge character arc and all that kind of stuff. It's almost more like just feel and just I don't know. It's like watching that movie just it's like it's nice to just have on. Even if I didn't even
Yeah,
have the audio going.
it's like a warm blanket almost
It's
type
like
trip.
visually beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but
Uh,
also like this is very closely related to like the birth of ambient music with like Vangelis, who did the
right. It's
soundtrack.
yes. It's like the
And it's
it's
also
ambient
related
music
to
on a film,
Wendy
kind of.
Carlos, who did the soundtrack for Clockwork Orange.
Yes,
It's
and The
also very
Shining.
connected to early synth work, like early krautrock shit. You know, like Klaus Kinski and um, I don't know what's that superhero
Kraftwerk.
movie with Tom Cruise? Legend, I think it's called,
Oh, Legend's
with
fucking great
Unicorn.
too. That's a great
Yeah,
movie.
that movie is fucking really
That's
like
like gotten better
growing up watching that movie. It like really
with
fucked me
age.
up. Like
It's a good movie.
it's
It's a good
Tim
fantasy
Roth is
movie.
the devil, right?
Yeah, really good fantasy movie. I'm
No, not
also
Tim Roth. The guy who
Tim. I know who you're talking about the guy from
the
fucking
guy from It who plays Razor It.
Rocky Horror Picture
Tim
Show.
Curry.
Tim Curry. Yep. So
Yeah,
also on
like
this list,
that movie Legend is like really visually amazing. Tangerine Dream, I think, did the soundtrack,
yeah,
which was an early krautrock rock, uh, completely synthesized group. You know, a lot of times people didn't have access to Moogs back then, or
exactly
something that was
the new
portable.
tech.
A lot of times your synth was like an entire room, almost like IBM was for computers.
So this one here, also on the list, number 8, Fantasia, kind of goes along with the same thing we're talking about, where it was visually really appealing, and I think that turned people off. Parents were claiming that the film
Well,
was satanic,
there's two.
too dark. I get it, but that movie's really good.
It has
Also,
the whole like Satan sequence with the
it
devil
does. Yes, it does.
overshadowing everything, and then also the
Then you get a
dinosaur
cute,
stuff with
little
people
Mickey
getting
part.
murdered. Like, that movie is so fucking dark. That's another one
Yeah, I
that
feel like the
watching
movie
that
was
like
so
really
dark that they like,
overall in for a time where the mother dies. Like that sequence is really fucking brutal,
yeah,
and also like Bambi getting killed.
yep. Oh, but I feel like Fantasia was so
Not
dark.
Bambi, Bambi's mother.
Baby's mother. Yeah,
But you
I
know
feel
what I
like,
mean? Like there's like
yeah,
and also like Watership Down. There's a lot of like stuff for kids that should not. I don't know, not should not, but like it's a
not
lot
great for
to deal
kids.
with
Yeah,
at that age.
yeah. Fantasia.
I'm not
It's
saying
like,
it's not great, but
yeah,
I think it's good in a way because they indirectly deal with things they'll have to deal with eventually, like your pet dying or it's like a family member. You know, like
right.
it puts you through trauma to where instead of having to deal with it right away, you have almost like a not a buffer, but like some prerequisite that you connected
Context.
to.
Yeah, context to the
Right,
situation. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't want to put Watership Down on anybody. That movie is like battle
Yeah, I don't
royale.
watch it. I don't watch that movie. Like, because it feels too
It's
deep.
fucked up. It's like all the dialogue too is like so cutthroat and fucked up too. It's not even just the animated violence. It's what they say to each other.
Yeah. Also, when I'm thinking of Fantasia, I wonder, I think about the whole movie. I wonder if they added that Mickey sequence in at the end to like make it a little more light. Like I feel like the movie's so dark. They're
Yeah,
like, oh, we
you know
need
what?
Mickey
That's a
to be
good
in
point
there.
because a lot of times when like when I've ever seen directors talk about stuff, they say like you need to lighten it up, you need to have a happy ending, and yeah, after having like all that kind of fucked up brutal shit happen, you at least want to leave people with something like a good vibe going to the next movie. You know, you want to completely obliterate and depress them to
Yeah,
where like they don't want to associate with you anymore. You know,
exactly.
I get it.
The next one on the list here
Not
is
like some
Fight Club.
fucked up one-off horror film. You know,
Next one on the list here is Fight
Fight
Club.
Club.
Yeah, Fight Club was not particularly critically liked, which
Well, I
apparently
know
it's
the book
surprising to me.
was, but
I'm not a super big fan of this movie like everyone else is. I liked it, but it never like wasn't like, oh, I need to get a Fight Club poster and put it on my fucking college dorm. Like, I don't know, never like appealed to me like that.
yeah, I feel like the
I might
Matrix
I might not
and
like
Fight
David
Club
Fincher.
had
I
a
don't know.
similar type of thing going, and I preferred the Matrix type of
I definitely
world.
agree. I definitely agree with that, especially similar release date. You know, that was
Because
99. I
Fight Club
think
was still um,
Matrix was 99 too.
alienating and one off, and just felt like it would never be a series. And then the Matrix had more like it was like a similar. I don't know how to put it. Like
Same year.
just
Same
like
year.
the. Was it really?
Yeah, it was both 99. Both 99.
I didn't know that. That's
It's
weird.
funny that you say, yeah, because it does. I know what you're talking about. They do feel similar in tone or something. Like people are on the same wavelength.
Yeah. Well, also, I feel like also like with music at that time period, everyone's using like the same type of software. You know, like a film, even though it's completely different one another, has a general commonality just based on what was optimal at the time to use. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like for a certain year, iTunes was not iTunes, Pro Tools was the best thing, and then for a certain time, Ableton. You know what I mean? Like or Logic,
Right.
or so that's what you'll get sometimes in appearance and like cinematography and production, whether or not the type of movie is anywhere near close to the other one.
Oh,
That's the
exactly. Yep.
commonality they have.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree. There's a vibe of a year sometimes, which is weird, but it does seem to happen. Especially like looking at like on hindsight, you can kind of see it more.
Yeah, one of them I think of is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's like something
Yeah,
that
it fits that
the
time
movie
period
came
like
out
too
and then like
well.
a bunch of other things spawned. You had like Garden State or whatever the fuck. Like something like that.
All right, so next on our list is It's a Wonderful Life. Um, I'm surprised
Is that
this
a
was
Christmas
panned.
movie or not? If
Yeah,
people
it's a
like to
Christmas
debate that.
movie. It is. I would say it's a Christmas movie. It definitely there's a big. I mean, it's not fully it
And it's
takes
a
place at
depression
Christmas,
film
but
too.
yeah, but it's like I
It
get it.
reference it's a reference like to the Great Depression of like what if you instead of like having a good life, you had absolutely nothing, and then this is what we've been through for the last like how many years?
Yeah, the part that always sticks with me with that movie is when he's like a kid and he goes out like sledding and he becomes deaf because his ear gets like stuck in the snow. Some I always remember that. Or maybe he falls into a lake and then he's deaf forever.
Yeah, that's some fucked up
Oh
shit.
no, it's
That's
not a
some
like
dark
light
shit.
movie. It's
It's like
really not light. It's pretty dark. Frank Capra was a
no,
good
it's like
filmmaker.
what do you mean?
I would not
It's a
say it's a light
Christmas
movie.
classic.
It is, but it's kind of dark. And Frank Capra is like a good filmmaker. Always good.
He has so much like his if you want to like rank, complete just directors
Oh, he's up
um
there, which is most
overall.
people won't know him, but he's up there.
Scorsese, I would put in top five. Like he really does not miss unless he's doing like some really weird fucking shit. But
Yeah,
he's
it's
got to be
funny.
top
Yeah,
five.
and like
And then I would put like
Frank Capra is like the like 30s and 40s version of Scorsese. If you want to like break it down
exactly
to our
like
modern times.
yeah, like if you would have tiers, it would be like Coppola is a tier,
Right.
and then
Well, it's weird. There was this 70s vibe of, like you got Coppola, you have Coppola, Spielberg, and Lucas, who are the big 70s directors. Like undeniably. Kind of
I'm not.
almost
Yeah, no. There should be tiers. There should be
there's
tiers. It
tears,
shouldn't be
yeah.
like a one-off. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you bring up
And then all you can throw in Ron Howard on the later end
you
of that
can't bring
too.
up Scorsese without bringing up Brian De Palma. Like Brian De Palma is fucking
Yeah.
huge. Like, and a massive influence on Tarantino, and that's a whole other tier that you could build.
Yes.
You know, so it's almost like you have the tier, and then you have like influence, and then you have the tier, and then you have influence, and then you have the tier.
Yeah.
Every single generation, yeah.
Next on the list, number 5 is The Graduate. I'm not a super big fan of this. I like Mike Nichols as a director. I like The Birdcage a lot. I think I like that better than The Graduate. For sure. The Birdcage is great. Especially like on hindsight. That like nowadays I think The Birdcage is just like a brilliant comedy. Have you seen it
Well,
like
you know why
recently?
that is.
Well, it's just I mean I
But
guess
but you know why that is?
Nathan Lane, and Robin Williams.
No, it's because gay culture, based on when the movie came out, has been completely
Yeah,
expounded and upon. Back then, Gene
but it's just
Hackman being
funny
like
though. It's just a funny movie.
the uptight father. I like that movie a lot. I love Robin Williams. Like Robin Williams is like an actor where no matter what he does, I'll check it out. Like even that weird, remember that fucking movie we watched where his kid like jerks off and kills himself?
Oh yeah, that movie's really dark, man. I mean I like that movie,
I
but
know.
it was
What's
good.
the
It
name of
was
that shit?
dark. Um,
Why do we even watch that? Like, what the fuck? But to
it's
me, that's
called
like anything Robin Williams does. I'll teacher of the no, not teacher of the year.
that's something that might be the name. Let me figure it out.
But to me, like he's like Robin Williams is so good. Like I'll watch anything he's in just to see what it's about. And like
World's
that,
Greatest Dad. World's Greatest Dad was the name of the movie,
yeah,
and it is
that
dark and
movie
it's
is
good.
really fucking bad. Like, it's not bad. It's like really fucked up.
Yeah, and like kind of it has a realistic vibe to it. Number four
But
on the
it's a
list.
dark comedy in like
Yeah.
one of the sickest ways I've ever seen. It reminds me of like Welcome to the Dollhouse or some
Yes,
Todd Salons
it
thing,
does have a
you
Todd
know?
Salons. Yeah, it does. Well, I think it was by
And it's so
what's his
dry
name?
and gross. Like every character feels like they're in on the joke of
It was
what they're
by
supposed to be like.
Bobcat Goldthwait did the movie. And I
Really?
know, yeah, and I know he was. I think he was trying to be like a Todd Salons type director. He was very good friends with Robin Williams. Number
You
four
know,
on
it's
the
weird.
list, The Shining. The Shining was
I
critically
used
panned.
to.
Can you believe that? The Shining was critically panned.
Well, you know why? Because it's not a movie that's going to generate a lot of. It's not a
It's
blockbuster. You
ridiculous.
know.
It was nominated for Stanley Kubrick was nominated for worst director for a Razzie, as was Shelley Duvall. That's fucking insane. Like I think
Really?
yeah, that's like insane. That shows you like the
Yep,
like if
I
you're
think we need to.
that's terrible.
I think we need to dedicate. I think we need to dedicate like an entire stream on what the fuck happened with that. Like
Well, yeah, or
why?
also
Like what was the context?
even the
Why was it
Razzies
so underrated or undervalued?
or like the
And
history of the Razzies.
why people negative to the release? You know, because I didn't see it when it came out, obviously,
Yeah,
but just
I think we do a whole
trying
Razzie
to get
stream.
the understanding of what happened would be really interesting to how poorly received it was. I mean, was it something beforehand that
Well,
made it
apparently
that way?
critics didn't like that it butchered the original Stephen King source material. I know Stephen King didn't like that either.
Oh
He
shit,
was
that's so true.
anti this
He
movie.
hated it too, didn't he?
Yes. Oh, he hated it. He made a shitty TV series in the 90s. Like that was his Shining, and that shit sucked. That was terrible. It had the guy from
Yeah.
It's Pat as the main
No,
Jack
it's
Torrance
kind of not
character.
the guy. It's the woman.
No. Like remember the guy who's obsessed with It's Pat? Like the main actor guy in the
Oh,
movie?
yeah. He was on SNL for a little bit.
Yeah, he was like the main character, I believe, of the Shining TV series. That's what I remember. I could be wrong, but that's what I
You know
remember.
about like the like really dark period of SNL where Eddie Murphy was like the only person people knew at all, and there was like Joe Piscopo and that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Where like
Yeah.
SNL like was really really down bad.
Yep. Oh, actually, I'm totally getting this wrong. The guy who played Jack Torrance was Steven Weber. He was in. He's in a few things. He was in that really bad Larry David movie called something with grapes. I remember that.
Wrath?
No. It was like Sour Grapes. I believe the name of the movie was called Sour Grapes. It was Larry David's movie. It was really bad.
Yeah,
That
I thought that was like a joke movie that he was gonna release and Denver did. I didn't uh notice it actually came out.
No, it was from 1998. It was a bad movie that he made. I mean, it's legitimately bad, and it's got that guy we're talking about, Steven Weber, in it. The movie sucked. really bad. But I'm surprised to see Shelley.
I
Like
don't
I
think I've
said,
ever watched it.
no, I
You ever
watched it.
seen it?
I've seen it. Yeah, it's bad. It's about like it's basically it's very Larry David like. It's like there's two friends. The one friend gives the one friend. It's very Larry David. The one friend gives the other friend like a quarter. You know, they're at like a casino, and he gives him the quarter, and the guy takes that quarter and then wins like the huge jackpot, becomes like a millionaire. And the other guy's like, "Well, you fucking owe me money," and the other guy doesn't want to
It's
pay
like
him.
Clear History again.
Yeah, it's very Larry David.
That's like Clear History again. Is this like the whole?
Basically,
He's
he
jealous of like
yeah.
giving Jerry Seinfeld this fucking TV show instead of him being the star of it, and he's just bitter.
I think we do. I think we.
Recreating these weird roles.
I think we do have to do a Razzie stream where we go through all the Razzies. I think that would be a good stream.
Yeah, I want to show if we could Tom Green winning for Freddie Got Fingered and Halle Berry winning for Catwoman, and
Yeah.
she looked so fucking good that whole
Yeah, I'd like to see
presentation.
that. Third
But
on the
she was
list here.
she was really good. Like she obviously blamed every single other person involved,
Of course.
but
Yeah.
she pretty much said ahead of time that's what she was gonna do. So yeah.
So she made up for it. Third on the list here is The Thing. The Thing was panned. Critics really, really hated it. Many reviews pointed to the groundbreaking practical effects as a flaw, wishing for something less brutal and violent than a film about a monster attacking people. This movie's great, and I've even seen the original. The original's not bad either.
People were so okay with like going to watch a porno film in the middle of New York and getting raped outside of it, but they couldn't handle the Thing CG.
Well,
Are
apparently,
you serious?
This was the first time John Carpenter did a sci-fi movie, so people didn't like his switch from horror to sci-fi.
Oh no,
I
that's
don't.
not true.
I don't think it's
His
true.
first Lunar film was a sci-fi movie. Remember?
Yeah, like Dark Star or something.
Yeah, we watched that shit. So
Yeah.
that's not even accurate.
Yeah, I think it's just they knew he did Halloween.
Before horror.
Yeah, I think it's almost like actually honestly I've heard bad things about the Bo movie with Joaquin Phoenix and how Ari Aster should just do horror movies, which I probably agree with, but I haven't seen the movie yet.
I'm seeing a lot of
people don't like it
who just follow fantasy stuff say that movie is very self-indulgent. It
looks like
entertaining, and it's a complete slog. And when I hear people who don't really care about movies,
no, I hear people who care about movies. I hear people who care about movies that didn't like it. So
not care about movies, like care only about fantasy. Say that shit.
Yeah,
it makes me wonder, like, what's really going on because.
No, I've heard from good reviewers, people who don't like it.
People now that wait to see this movie, other than the fact that they want to see it, so they got really disappointed by it.
Yeah.
So,
well, everyone liked his horror movies.
People who will spend money to go see something and then have a review, I will kind of value more than just the random asshole who streamed it or downloaded it while they're taking a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, but this is not on the list. But I know for a fact the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was not liked. It was critically panned. It didn't make a lot of money at all.
It's dark. It's dark for a kids movie.
Well, it's also I think it was one of those movies that it made money going to syndication, like on TV and being on VHS video. But at the time, it did not make money in the theaters. So number 2 on our list is Wizard of Oz, which is weird to see because it's like the iconic movie of the 30s or late 30s, 40s kind of thing.
Yeah, but a lot of times the classic doesn't become a classic until a certain amount of time or like something's happened that generates interest or like a fan base that.
As a movie, do you like it? Do you like it as a movie?
Like The Sandlot, you know, I feel like that movie probably didn't make fucking anything, but once a bunch of people saw it, it became something else, you know. That's why it's rerun all the fucking time.
good. There's nothing. I think it gets a little overrated as far as film, like from our era, but it's pretty good. I like Wizard of Oz a lot. I know it's not the first Technicolor movie that everyone claims it is. It is not. It is not the first color movie. Number one on the list is Vertigo, which is crazy because it does. Yeah, it has a 97% Rotten Tomato score, and it's a Hitchcock movie. It's crazy. Pretty good. Pretty good movie too. That's our list for critically panned. I would definitely put Charlie and Chocolate Factory on here. Oh yeah, so back to Henry Cavill. So The Witcher put out this poster where essentially they put him in back. Like, look how far they hide him in the photo here. That's what they do. That's what Netflix doing because he's gonna be out. Like, I know Liam Hemsworth is gonna take over for him, but this is probably gonna be the end of the series. Let's see what people wrote here. There we go. Nerdrotic writes, "You choose hack writers over Henry." I agree. No thanks, you ruined it. Yeah, there's a big support for Henry Cavill as far as playing The Witcher, playing Superman. He's got a big following. I can't say he was particularly good in anything I've ever seen, but I think he does fit the role of Superman. You know what I mean by that? I lost you there. I think so, at least. Let's look at some other comments. Sad to know this is gonna be the last good season. I started watching season 2 and I don't think that season's that good. Call Me Dave says, "Nah, I'm good." It's funny because there's a big take on it. Seems like everyone's like, "Oh, this is the end of it," even though it's probably can continue with Liam Hemsworth. No one cares. Let's see. Someone writes, "No one can replace the charisma and acting of Henry Cavill." I don't know about that. I don't think the guy has that much charisma or acting. I think he has a nice model look to him. I think that's been his appeal. Another nearly 1K life says, "Glad we have an actor like Henry who respects source material and isn't there himself." Yes, that is cool. He actually almost missed the Superman audition for playing WoW. He was rating and he almost missed his audition. That's a pretty awesome claim to fame there. I have not seen season 2 of The Witcher. I've only seen a little bit of it. Season 1 I liked. Have you never seen any of The Witcher, Leon?
I don't know. Do you think Henry Cavill's just making up that fucking gaming shit to?
No, I don't think so. Because he's doing Warhammer. He's like putting all his money into making this Warhammer game. It's a game into a movie. No, he's a legit nerd. He knew all about WoW. Like, people talked about it. He knew all about. I think he was like a paladin. He knew all about all that shit.
Well, does he have a twink?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but hopefully, he quit the show because they didn't want to.
If he doesn't have a twink, I really don't have much respect for his. I mean, what is he rating? What an asshole, you know.
I mean, he was rating, man. This is going back to when did Man of Steel come out? Like, when did that come out?
2004.
Oh no, it says 2013. So he was rating around like 2010. I mean, hold on. I can find some thoughts on him here talking about WoW. Um, he was actually talking about like particular dungeons. He was rating at like level 60 in 2004. That's like peak WoW early time. Talking about Anox's Lair, rating Anox's Lair. He seems to know what he's talking
Remember
about.
that Dragon 3 we do where they had like those waves of lava that you'd have to.
It rings a bell so far.
It wasn't a dungeon. It was like a one-off.
It was a quest.
No, it was like a world boss. Um,
Oh yeah, that one was awesome. Where
you
everyone would come together and fight that one fucking huge boss.
you'd have to like kill all these dragon human hybrid people as the creep, and then the main dragon was like a red uh fucker.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I forget the boss, but I know what you're talking about. I always like Yennefer, and this is pretty fucking hot. She's she's kind of the hot one in the game too. By the way, there's a lot of tits in that game. By the way, and that game actually has some tits. All right, moving back over to the Mandalorian. It's had a week premiere. It's no one's talking about this show. It's right when it came out, like there was no chatter about it. No one seemed to give a shit. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the Obi-Wan show just sucked. The Boba Fett show sucked. The fan audience score is about 50%. It's even gone down since the last I looked at it, like a day ago. I think it was 52% last I looked at it. Gone down. Look at this. This shows you like you see 86%. These are the people that are bought out by Disney, and this is the people that actually like talk about the show.
I'm sure they're not, bought out.
Oh, you don't think so? No.
I feel like I feel like if I had this much money online, I would want to have control over every single thing, no matter what, whether it was for me, against me, adversary, Optimus. I would want to have everything controlled, no matter
Yeah, I
what.
agree. I mean, I'm looking at
Whether it makes me look bad or not,
some of the numbers on this show are pretty awful. It's only getting like 7. Like if you look at the Nielsen ratings here, this is
The what?
all the Nielsen ratings. That's what shows you a lot of the ratings shit. A lot of this Nielsen ratings are weird with streaming because it just kind of shows you minutes watched. But
Nilsson, like Nilsson Schmilson?
oh, like Harry Nilsson? No, different guy. But yeah, different guy than the Beatles. I know he
He pretty much is the Beatle.
well, I mean, that was, after Paul was dead, so they had to bring in somebody, right?
No, he was
Once Paul
been
died, he
on
had to
recordings
fill in the
before that
place.
too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
No, like he said production credits on stuff for all the just straight up collaborations and stuff.
Oh yeah, and I think back at the Beatles, dude, a lot of their shit was they didn't fucking record it, and also even like all the
studio. It's a lot of studio musicians. And
oh
they just get
yeah,
credited. Yeah,
and then just the orchestrated
I
parts.
feel like it's probably like 70% of the time.
I almost don't even know if they wrote any of the stuff in like especially early on. They don't seem to be that talented early. Like
Back
their
then
talent
they had like
if you look at John Lennon's like solo stuff and then you see the early Beatles stuff, there's not really a connection. Like how do you get worse? You know what I mean? Like
back then they had Motown type giant studio bands that you can hire out for complete recordings, and they don't give a shit. They're just there to like do a job. You
right.
can tell them to play whatever you want, and they'll do it. And they don't even care about being credited. They're just there to like still be able to play like whatever they're playing. A lot with like jazz and shit too. Like they just want to have any kind of income at all. They don't care.
Dude, why do you think they brought in that one piano player the last that last
right. Yeah.
Dude, it's because they couldn't make the music.
Too.
That's why they did it. They couldn't even make the music, I feel like, at that point. They were like stuck. They're like, oh, we need actually like a ringer. What was that guy's name? Billy something?
I don't have Disney Plus, so I never got to see the Beatles documentary. I wanted to.
Oh, dude, it was
Is that
so
on Plex?
I should get it on Plex. I might have it. It's called Get Back. But it was so fucking long.
I wanted to watch it, but I didn't want to pay for Disney Plus, whatever.
I mean, I'll give you the footnotes. George Harrison was like a dick the whole time because he just wants to leave the band, and also it's like no one wants to listen to anything he has to say. So he just kind of is like, well, fuck you. And then Paul McCartney's just trying to get people to like fucking play, but no one really wants to listen to him. Yoko Ono was there, and that's all kind of John Lennon cares about. And then, all in all, Ringo's cool as fuck. Cool fucking guy. He seems like a cool fucking dude. Like, all in all, like, Ringo seemed cool to hang out with because he was cool with like everybody. Oh, and George Harrison quits the band like in the middle of it. All the songs he pitched, by the way, were all in his album later. That was really good. Like, one of my favorite albums is All Things Must Pass, and like every song he pitched was from that album, and they're like, nah, we don't want to do that one.
Yeah, do you think that's why?
I think they just like it was just so stuck on
No,
this is Paul and George's
this is his
band.
Larry David. This is his Larry David spite store. You know.
No, I think it was just the whole band was basically Paul and John, and they didn't really want to give him too much. But he was the only one really coming up with songs. It's a weird movie. It took him a long time to do it.
You don't think that him hating them made his shit better?
Oh, I think it did. I think he has the best solo album outside the Beatles. I think it's his album. And then
like, you don't think
maybe
like,
Ram is next. Maybe Ram by Paul McCartney is
like,
next.
Your hatred and like wanting something bad for somebody is a good incentive to create stuff. You know.
I mean, it seemed to work. I mean, they all hated Paul, but probably because it wasn't even really Paul. That could be the reason. It's Billy Shears, man.
That's the thing I've noticed about like people who make money. They'll find any like posthumous recreation, regurgitation. You know, Madonna looks like this now, type of thing, just to keep this money coming in from all these best of CDs and compilations that old people are still buying and all that kind of crap.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm actually speaking also with the Mandalorian. I'm curious to see like these ratings are really bad. What were the ratings like when Lizzo was on it? When Jack Black and Lizzo was on it? Ugh. What was that
I don't
like?
know. Is there a site that tracks viewership to where it's like a fluctuating
There is
chart, almost like a stock market?
It's the Nelson ratings, but they don't come out for streaming. It doesn't come out until a few weeks later. So we will see what the ratings were for the Lizzo episode, but I guarantee you everyone turned it off as soon as they saw her. It was just like,
do you think if I grew out a giant beard like that, I could justify it for the part?
I don't know. I feel bad because it's like I like Jack Black. It sucks that he's involved in this because I do like him. I don't have a problem with Jack Black.
I like him a lot too. I mean,
like, it just sucks. It's like I like him. I like the band. What was the band called? Tenacious D?
He's really good in that. I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for is High Fidelity. Like, he's really fucking funny.
Oh no, I think he does get a lot of people talk about that's like his peak. That's peak Jack Black. I've heard people say that. Like peak Jack Black is High Fidelity.
But it's not the main part. He's like just some guy. Like, he's a secondary character.
Yeah.
It's not like School of Rock or whatever the fuck, you know?
I do have to say I never liked that movie. I don't know. Never liked that one that much. I guess it's not.
It's a kids movie.
I guess it's just.
It's kids that are. That's a good movie for like kids who want to be in band, but are like socially pressured to feeling like it's geeky or lame, and that entire movie makes them feel really confident and good about pursuing music.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
like that's a really good movie, inspiring little fucking kids to pick up instruments and shit. You know?
Oh yeah, definitely is. It is. Next topic here is John Leguizamo talking about Super Mario Brothers. Look at this. Super Mario Brothers movie is such a hit. It's at $881 million. It's almost hitting $1 billion. It hasn't even premiered in Japan. So I feel like we're gonna see this double, which is crazy. Like, this movie's making fucking bank.
If you want like a general review, some people I work with said they saw it and They loved it.
I've heard
So
people see it twice already. I'm like shocked at that.
twice. Okay. Then we're starting to get like fanatical, like Harry Potter type
Dude,
shit.
Nintendo is kind of fanatical. People love Nintendo stuff.
No, it's definitely a very good like floor of a fan base. Like it's a good market, but it's not like you can't compete with like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter.
I mean, look at the
There's
if
like
you see
film,
this
and then
chart,
there's like
man. This shit's
game
going up.
movies.
All I'm gonna say is this movie is gonna probably what we're seeing here score wise might double when you get Japan added to it, which is
Who made
crazy.
this? Is this Pixar or is this
No,
Disney?
this is I want to say it's all right. So I don't know what studio it is, but it's whoever made the
Sony?
Minions, and they are not Disney. So Disney is like pissed about this because this might pass the biggest
Slap in
animated
the
movie of
face.
all time. This might pass
Yeah.
Frozen 2 as far as biggest animated movie of all time. I think it will.
Well, if Frozen 2 is on the list, I think the list is kind of bullshit. To be honest with you.
Well, I think it's just like let's look at this. All right, Frozen 2 made 1.4 billion.
If Frozen whatever the fuck is on the list, then the list is antiquated.
Well, Frozen 2
really
made 1.4 billion. I have a feeling this movie, like if you double this 800, I think this movie is on track to make maybe 1.6. So I think it might beat it by like a little bit. I think 1.6 doesn't sound bad.
Could have bought stock in this movie before it got released. And
I guess if
sold
you bought
after all this.
I think maybe it's DreamWorks who owns this movie. I gotta see. I guess if you bought into DreamWorks,
so you don't buy the stock of the film, you buy the stock of the company that's responsible. Yeah.
Yeah, it had to have been whoever made the movie.
Yeah, it's something different from having the pandemic happen and everybody fucking Zoom stock.
It was Universal who made this movie, so you bought into Universal stock, which is definitely a publicly traded company. That would have been a fucking good idea. But so speaking of that, John Leguizamo has kind of doubled down on the boycott, more or less saying the movie lacks diversity. But really what he's saying is he wants to be in the movie.
He's trying to get the Super Mario movie taken out of theaters?
he just keeps saying like you should have had me in the movie. Like was the first one diverse? Yeah, he just wanted to fucking be in it. He even says he would join the movie.
So he's like desperately cash grabbing.
Despite slamming them.
I guess the piss money didn't last so long.
He's more or less saying that the movie needs a Hispanic actor to make it more diverse, meaning himself. Like if you cast John Leguizamo, this would all be right in the world because he needs to see He wants to see Latinx representation, which means himself. Meanwhile, you actually have.
It's funny how like this is all set in like literary stone, and then he can go and read it and reflect on it.
He more or less is just saying like, "Hey, if you put me in this movie, it'd be okay."
In the back of my mind, he's thinking like, "Can I have this redacted to where it's deleted? Like people don't see this anymore." Because I know when I post some like fantasy shit, I make sure I want to get rid of it immediately because I knew it was a bad take. From the start.
John Leguizamo says he'd consider a role if they do the right thing and make the movie more inclusive, which means cast him.
Inclusive, okay.
Which means just cast me and we're okay. Like it's fucking insane. This guy is such a prick.
Well, you know.
Ugh. What did he want to do? I mean, it is true. It's like maybe they should have put him in it, but I don't think the movie really lacks diversity. True. I don't know. I mean, just made a background character. I mean, you have Charlie. I wouldn't want to put him in as a main character. Like, I think Charlie Day playing Luigi sounds better than him playing Luigi.
Like, that movie was fucking weird. You couldn't carry it, man. Like, why were you going to recast the guy who was in the version of the movie that fucking sucked and nobody cared about? You know what I mean? And became a weird, like, freak movie meme thing. You know?
Yeah. I
Why
did
is that
see a
going to be
movie with
the?
him recently that wasn't that bad. That Christmas movie was okay with the Stranger Things guy.
Yeah, that's the stuff you
Silent
should
Deadly
be
Night.
doing.
That was okay. He was alright in that. I had no problem with John Leguizamo in that. He had a part in Mandalorian. I think season 2. That was alright. But like an alien. That's what he should be doing. Kind of looking like the Spawn character. Just
It's funny. I after like seeing my parents watch like tons of NYPD Blue and like all that kind of shit. The amount of like actors and actresses and that shit that go on to other stuff is insane. It's fucking weird.
oh yeah, exactly.
It's almost like a breeding ground for talent, like AAA is for baseball or um, the G League is for basketball. It's like it's a weird complex.
My favorite character that he played was the Spawn clown guy. That's my favorite John Leguizamo role.
Yeah, I have hard like I have very vivid memories of this motherfucker at Richard's birthday party.
Oh yeah, we saw it in theaters.
Listening to like Wu
Oh no,
Tang
we saw it.
Clan,
We saw it
and
on VHS tape. Because
yeah,
we saw Phantom
and then
Menace in
playing
theaters. We saw Phantom
Manhunt,
Menace, and then we went back
playing
and saw
Manhunt.
Spawn. Yeah.
But then, like, I remember going up to his brother's room and seeing all these like weird Spawn figurine collections, and I thought, like, you fucked up already. You should have left them in the boxes, man.
Yeah, but Spawn, man, was
You gotta leave them in the box.
Spawn and X-Men was like the big comics at the time. Those were cool, man, at the time. That was that era,
Spawn?
man. Oh yeah, Spawn was like a newer comic at the time because you had Todd McFarlane.
It reminded me of who's the guy who would do
Image Comics, man. They left
Neil Gaiman. That's me Neil Gaiman a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
well, yeah, because here's what happened. Like there became these indie
like
comic. Yeah. Well, there became these indie comic companies like Image Comics, and that got like Jim Lee and some really good like legit comic artists that like didn't want to work for Marvel and DC anymore, so like fuck it, we're gonna make our own thing. And then DC did their own version of it. They called it Vertigo, where they were like, oh, we're gonna put all our weird comics on Vertigo, and that's where Neil Gaiman went into. So he was basically like, Image Comics and Vertigo were kind of like the cool comics of the era. They still are. They still put out better stuff than the main two. But yeah,
you should do some stuff on that because I've never heard of either. But
it's a big thing, man.
Shitload about that entire.
That's the best comics. The best comics are always like the ones that aren't superhero shit, like just the weird shit. That's the best. At least that's what I like.
Like you should do some stuff on those because I've never heard of them, but I want to like know about it without having to read it all. You know.
Yeah. Well, John Leguizamo said he spoke his.
Because there's an actual Sandman release that I heard like a while back with Kat Dennings doing the audio, and I thought that was fucking weird.
Yeah, the Sandman show wasn't that good on Netflix. I wasn't very impressed, except for like a few episodes. It wasn't that good. It just didn't translate to a show, and they also like race swap stuff, gender swap stuff. They had to do the typical woke Hollywood stuff. They didn't need to.
I didn't know that it came out.
Yeah, it came out in like the late
When was
summer.
that?
Late summer it came out. It was not like it wasn't anything that great. Okay. Moving on. I'm going to talk about our reviews. Going to the user reviews for the Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993. So this is I did a little podcast thing called user reviews. And so I collected some user reviews from this movie. And look at how, I mean, this movie was fucking creepy. You got the Goombas, you got Dennis Hopper, you got
they look a
Bob
little
Hoskins.
bit like the Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah, I mean, nothing about this movie like says fucking Super Mario Brothers movie. You know, like it doesn't fit with what the game was.
That shit on the top left looks like a hybrid of Gremlins and Garbage Pail Kids combined.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what they were going for. Also, even like Howard the Duck kind of vibe to this movie.
Right, you can see what's that motherfucker from that David Lynch movie with Laura Dern?
Dennis Hopper. I'm talking about Blue
Blue
Velvet.
Velvet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Blue Velvet era, freaked out. You know, Frank just smoked
Coked out.
fucking gas tank and ate somebody
Totally
on the
Hollywood.
right side. And
Totally
then we got
Hollywood
John
coked out.
Leguizamo and like 80-year-old British actor
Bob Hoskins.
what's it? Bob Hoskins. And then this freaked out weird Gremlins ripoff thing on the left. This is a scary poster.
Yeah, this was this exact image was on my lunchbox.
By the way, can we blow that up?
That's as far as I can
looks
go.
like
That's it.
below the like freaked out dinosaur shit. It looks like some weird
the woman from
porno thing where like some woman and a dinosaur are about to have sex.
Kind of like a Howard the
and
Duck
there's
type
like a
thing.
Fire explosion and a taxi on the left.
Yeah, kind of like a Howard the Duck type scenario. That's as far as I can go with the image, but let's talk about the. Let's talk about
see it, right?
Oh, I see it
what
right
I'm talking
here.
about.
Yeah,
it looks like a weird one of those like romantic Fabio novellas that you get at a bookstore with instead lizard people and mutated taxi cabs and stuff. Like that's
got some
that's a unique market they're going for.
It's got some heavy metal taxi cab shit to it.
Maybe we're gonna soon expose all those lizard people. You know,
it makes me
come out.
It makes me want to watch this movie again because I don't remember it, but I remember not liking it even as a kid. That's the best way to say it. But I'm gonna start off with some good reviews.
That similar movie with Whoopi Goldberg and the dinosaur.
Something Rex. Something Rex.
Something Rex. Yeah. Something Rex.
But let me talk about the good reviews here. These are the 10 out of 10. These are the people who love this movie. So the first one here is labeled Best Movie Ever by said 968777, August 2021. So this wasn't too long ago. I watched this movie while disassociating with my bud, and it was the best experience of my life. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So I guess they were on ketamine while they watched this movie. So if you're on ketamine, you might like this. That's what I get from that,
or a
right?
bath salt, or jankum.
Yeah, this is a total bath salt, ketamine, maybe some cocaine mix, and then you're gonna love this movie. You're gonna love everything Dennis Hopper does in it.
Or it's at least watchable.
Here's another 10 out of 10, labeled Interesting from 2003 by Alex-1. This reminds me a lot of Brazil for some reason. Bob Hoskins, I guess, is the main reason. Why people are rating this 3.5 is beyond me. It's an interesting take on a child's video game and has enough good bits to warrant a complete sitting. Time to lighten up, people. Happy face sign. I don't know if I agree. This is I think 3.5 is high for this movie. At least when I thought about it. But I do get the Brazil vibe because there's like a disgusting dystopian vibe to this movie, right?
Yeah.
And Brazil has that.
Me of, that Mike Judge movie,
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy,
yeah.
Where that movie, like, it felt way too, and also Wall-E, also.
Where a little bit. They're both dark, dystopian-ish.
Yeah, like way too potentially accurate to I didn't want to accept or have to live that existence, but it could be, like it is just it's too real.
Oh yeah. Now this one's another 10 out of 10.
You don't think you could see like an entire ship of people just in like weird, morbidly obese tanks of water?
Oh, yeah, they made that so creepy.
The plasma. I know that's not a kids movie. I mean, it is a kids movie, but like, there's too much going on.
It feels horrible. Yeah,
it's way too much going on.
Yeah. So this one's a 10 out of 10 as well from Alexander Donow. This one goes back to December 2000 pre 9/11, 23 years ago. This guy says this movie is brilliant. It's a piece of art, but not in a conventional way of movies being art. It's a piece of art in that it's just so damned fun. I don't think that I've seen a movie which is more fun than this one. I do realize that that's extremely little to do with the actual Mario Brothers game, but the basic groundwork is the same. It's still a rollicking good time. The first review posted in this movie really should be abolished. It doesn't give the movie any credit at all. It's all good fun. The surprisingly all-star cast. I think the actors felt wouldn't further their careers, but they would have had a fun time doing it anyway. What made everyone hate this movie so much? Question mark. Even my mother liked it. It's just so stupid fun. What's wrong with little stupid fun? This guy's really getting defensive. The only flaw that I found with it is its ending, because it reeks of a sequel, but we all know that there won't be one. I doubt the actors would want to do it anyway. In parentheses there. That's his insider take. Although an accurate portrayal of the Mario universe would still have a pretty good movie on our hands here. I don't know. This guy's so out there.
It's weird how like confident all these posts are. Where I doubt they even like watched the fucking thing fully through.
No, he watched it. Even his mother liked it. His mother liked it. What's wrong with stupid fun, right?
Yeah, so it could have been.
What's wrong with a little stupid fun? Alexander Donay. He's like a philosopher. He's like a Nietzsche. You know, he just wants an inaccurate portrayal of the Mario universe, and he's good. I like his take is pretty funny on this. He's very into the fake Mario universe here because it's so damn fun. I don't remember that movie being damn fun. Do you remember it being fun? I don't remember it being fun at all.
I mean,
I had no fun.
It was fun. It was weird.
Was it fun?
I liked it. I like the Mario movies, even though
I like the cartoon. Ones. I remember the cartoon was fun. And they had the Italian guys that would be in between the cartoons, and they would be like,
"What's
hey,
that?
Paisan."
Can you show that?
I probably can't show it, but like, don't you remember there would be this Mario cartoon where you'd have these Italian plumbers being like, "Hey, Paisano, check out this next clip." You don't remember that?
No. Can you show
man,
5 seconds of it without getting removed?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Cause this was I always liked this. It was a TV show from like the 90s. It wasn't bad. I watched it. It's from
Hey, paisanos!
There you go. This starts off pretty good, but let me put this in here. Let's see. Yeah, it's like it's pretty much it follows the animation series, but then it has these two Italian guys that say "Hey, paisanos" all the time, and they're kind of like the transition characters between the cartoons. But it looks like the games. This fit more with the games than that fucking Leguizamo movie. You don't remember the show at all?
I do. I feel like I definitely saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching this a lot. Like, this was good. This was definitely on the Saturday morning shows.
I don't remember the Cutaways that much.
Got Magic Johnson.
It's like some weird punk shit from the 80s. Like some weird post-punk shit.
But it went definitely into the 90s, and it got repeated. It got like replayed and shit a few times.
Wow, this is fucking crazy. Damn. Yeah, we should just like watch a bunch of this show. Add this to like your favorites or something.
It's now on DVD. Now on DVD.
Yeah, we should. I definitely want to check that out.
My next 10 out of 10 here is labeled "How Can You Not Like It?" From Sam I Am -5. This is March 1999. This goes back 24 years ago. March 13th, so not even far off from now. I don't see what people's problem is with this movie. Personally, it is ranked within my top 20 of my favorite movies. And I have a lot of them. He puts in parentheses. The effects are not as spectacular, but enough to make me say, cool. I gave this movie a 9.5 out of 10, even though he lists 10 point. He really liked the effects, I guess. When you go back to March 1999, maybe the effects are, a little better suited.
It's almost like hard to read through. It's so fucking ridiculous once you get through it, like midway.
I mean, that's what I love about reading these user reviews, and you can pull some good ones. I tried to find some good ones. I have to say, whenever I do these review things, I always feel like the higher ratings are funnier because they're more like, you fucking like this? They're more obscure, like actually why they liked it, and they have a point. Like this guy here before, Alexander Donay, it's because his mom liked it. Even his mom liked it.
Even
his mom liked it.
Is a really dirty, cheap, backhanded compliment. Even this idiot. Like,
oh yeah, even this fucking wop idiot Mario.
Even this idiot. If ever I'm like, if anyone ever says even about me in a sentence, I'm gonna immediately get fucking defensive and pissed.
Oh yeah.
From now on.
You're gonna be like, "Hey, Paisano, don't say even." So moving on to Hey Paisanos, moving on to our negative reviews. These are 1 out of 10s. Because I had to get the full spectrum here. I go from the 10 out of 10s and I go to the 1 out of 10s. This one's labeled from 2001, right after 9/11. Only 11 days after 9/11. This guy writes, "Garbage. In a word, garbage. Describing this movie brings me back to many painful memories. The weather was bad outside and there was nothing else on TV. In a strange way, I felt drawn to it. Like you feel drawn to watch a car crash when driving on a motorway." So this guy must be from England. No one says motorway here. "A decent cast couldn't save a terrible, terrible script. If you come across it on TV, do something more worthwhile, like counting the number of fibers in your carpet. Arguably the worst movie ever made."
That's a little much.
I mean, I don't agree. I think it is garbage, but I don't know if I would.
Not the worst movie ever made.
No, it's not. It's not the worst movie ever made. There's much worse. I mean, watch a student film and then you could talk about worst movies ever made. I've seen student films.
This doesn't even qualify.
Yeah, it's like I definitely disagree. 1 out of 10 from Beautiful Sam from October 2006. He writes, "Burn the fucking tape. Don't ever see this film unless you're feeling suicidal or if you dream about having intercourse with Mario." Yeah. Burn the fucking tape. Don't ever see this film unless you're feeling suicidal or you have a dream about having intercourse with Mario. Only totally idiotic diehards should see this, or maybe stupid children. This is mind-numbingly bad video torture. The main characters don't even resemble the original video game stars, which is so true. That always bothered me about this movie was that, like, they don't look anything like the characters. They don't have any, like, it just didn't match up. The whole look of the movie doesn't match up with the bright colored Mario world. With like a gritty New York, it didn't match up. So this shouldn't even have the word Mario associated with it. You know what I was just realizing? I think this Mario movie wanted to be what Ninja Turtles was to the cartoon. They wanted to have this gritty New York movie, but still have it kind of attached to this bright, colorful cartoon. You know what I mean? That's the vibe I get from this. They wanted to have this be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All right, let me keep going.
Yeah, I mean,
you see what I'm saying?
They were going for it. They pulled it off
because that was successful at the time. That was 1990, and this was 1993. So this is only a few years later that they wanted to kind of do something similar.
Yeah, I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They had great games too.
And really, that first movie is good. That first movie is really fucking good. It's like
even the second I don't mind.
And like it doesn't like what weird. People are saying, what they don't
cheap, creepy, strange way.
And what people are saying about what they don't like about this Mario movie is kind of what people could say about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, but it like does it well. Like it doesn't match this bright, colorful world, but it's fucking good because it's like dark, gritty New York. Let me go back into this. Doesn't resemble the main video game stars, which we know, so they shouldn't even have the word Mario associated with it. It should be called Super Brothers, or maybe just Brothers, which makes you think of a pizza place, since the production has absolutely nothing super about it. Come on, you're Dennis Hopper. That's pretty
That'd be
super.
good if you turn the Super Mario Brothers into Brothers, which is like a
Yeah, just Brothers.
different movie.
I mean, one thing I mean, I never played them games that much, but I heard people are saying it'd be cool if this new Super Mario has a sequel with Luigi, just called the Haunted Mansion. Like, if they could do a whole Haunted Mansion movies, that'd be pretty cool. I'd be down with that. So back here, also with the aforementioned lack of resemblance to the real characters, it's debatable if the film versions of Mario and Luigi are at all related. Yeah, I agree. Bob Hoskins and Leguizamo don't really feel related. Do you agree to that? They feel like
I feel like they really tried to make Bob Hoskins, he's an older British
older
actor,
British guy,
isn't he?
white guy. Yeah, I mean they feel like
who's the guy who
apartment.
played Hannibal Lecter?
What's his name?
Anthony Hopkins. He's
Hopkins,
like an Anthony
yeah.
Hopkins type.
Yeah, I mean they
So
feel
really
like
tried to force him into that role.
they feel like apartment co roommates at best. You know, like that. That's the best thing I could say to describe them together. The movie may be better suited to remain nameless. Yeah, maybe this shouldn't even had a name, but I don't agree. I have I have a good name for this movie. It's called DFB, which stands for Die Fucking Abolical. This guy's got the jokes. These 1 out of 10s are pretty vicious here. The next one, 1 out of 10, horrible in every way possible. From Movie Fan in the USA. This goes back to November 1st, 2009. I saw this movie a while ago, and I must say I asked myself why I sat through the whole thing. I am a huge fan of Mario and Luigi, and I normally like Mario games. The TV show was good, but seriously, a movie? The storyline and acting both suck. The whole idea is a complete copy of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. That's the one we talked about, the Super Show. I don't agree. This isn't a copy of that at all. The characters from Mario series brought to life. In short, do not waste your time on this garbage. This is the second time garbage has been brought up. It is a complete waste of time. Yeah. The movie is worse than Disaster Movie. I don't know what Disaster Movie is, which is saying something. Well, what is Disaster Movie? Now I have to kind of see what's Disaster Movie.
Like a one of those like spoof comedy movies.
Oh yeah, this has got like a 1 out of, oh okay, yeah. This has got a 1.9 out of 10.
Yeah. It's spoof. It's one of those like
it's got Carmen Electra in it.
Movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Carmen Electra in it is never a good sign. Tony Cox, never a good sign. It's like a kiss of death when you got Tony Cox in it most of the time. Oof. Okay, I get you. All right, I see what he's saying. All right, where was? That's what we were saying. Go play the Mario games and watch the TV shows instead. Trust me, you'll be glad you made the decision. I don't disagree with that. Like the games are better than all these things. There's a really good, really good Switch game or Wii. What is it? What's the new one now? Switch. There's a good Switch game called Mario Odyssey that I really recommend. It was a great Mario game. You ever play that? You ever seen that? You ever played Mario Odyssey? Stuff? Mario Odyssey, the newer ones. The newer Marios. They're really good, actually.
No, but I feel like I've seen some gameplay.
Yeah, I was shocked. Like, I got really into it, and I was even like, this was going back years ago, but I was bringing my Switch to work and like playing in my cubicle. Like, I beat the game. Like, it's one of the few games I beat. Mario Odyssey. Yeah, I beat the shit. And then, like, once you beat the game, you could. It was for Switch, so I could like bring the Switch with me, so it's kind of like a handheld when I was at work. And then I could have came back and played it. It was good. I really liked it. You had this little hat that you could throw your hat and jump on them, and it would give you like a double jump. It was there was some cool new shit to it. Last one here is 1 out of 10 from Metalhead 13 from 2002. So I went back in time to get some reviews here because I wanted to get some older takes. They labeled this review called "This movie is a number one stinky," which I saw that label. I don't know, but I saw that label and I was like, oh, I want to say that on stream. In a word, this movie is, quotes, very bad. I first played the game when I was a mere child, only 16 years old. Is that a child? Is a 16-year-old a child?
No. That's like a teenager almost.
All right, so this motherfucker is old. So if you first played Mario when you were 16 and this game came out in like 1990, motherfucker's an old fuck. You know, like George Carlin talks about it. You know, there's dumb fucks, there's old fucks, there's fat fucks. This motherfucker's an old fuck. All right. Then 3 years later, I saw the Super Mario Brothers
Do you remember that
big
video
screen.
has on like names?
On games?
No, people who have names that he hates. Like
Skylar,
yeah,
like Tyler and
Zach.
Yep. Oh, I totally agree. There's some names that should be left as a child. You shouldn't be able to have them as an adult. Tyler is one of those. It's like you're gonna call someone.
They can be redacted. Yeah.
There's a couple names that I feel like don't really work as adults. Tyler's definitely one of them. I don't know. There's a lot.
Skylar.
Scott. It's kind of bad. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of names are bad. Do what to say. Then 3 years later, I saw Super Mario Brothers on the big screen. Unlike I had imagined, it was nothing like the video game. Poor special effects, which he spells effects bad.
Movie.
Poor special affects, really, is what he's saying here. Bad acting contributed to one of the worst movies ever made. I think that's a little harsh. After I saw this film,
given what they had to work with, acting is not bad, you know.
This is interesting with this character, this guy Metalhead 13, and there's some issues with this guy. After I saw this film, I ran into my room and cried into my bed. So this guy, if he first played the game, he was 16. So how old was he when he saw the movie? 3 years later. So he was 19 when he ran home and he cried into his bed. 19-year-old crying in his bed. At the time, it was rocket ship blankets. So he's an interesting 19-year-old. Anyway, I was obviously both hurt and befuddled by that there was nothing like the beloved video game. I stayed in my room for 11 days. Then it became 47 weeks, crying because it was so bad. So if you want to go through what I did, I suggest you don't waste your breath in watching this movie because I give it a 0.05 out of 10. That's very, very bad. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think do you think Metalhead 13 is exaggerating a little bit here?
I mean, he sounds like a pretty trusted source to me.
I mean, he was in his room for 47 weeks crying
or something. I'll believe.
And not just cry. He cried for 47 weeks. It was like a Moses experience. It was like being on Noah's Ark.
I know, yeah.
He was
like fasting.
Yeah. He experienced life and death and rebirth in 47 weeks because of this Mario movie.
Kingsley can only dream of.
I wonder if Bob Hoskins knew about this. Did Bob Hoskins reach out? Did he have any like Bob Hoskins fever dreams?
I wonder if the guy who played Gandhi, Ben Kingsley, got more credit for being Gandhi than Gandhi did.
Well, I mean, when you think of Gandhi, don't you think of him? Isn't your first thought like Ben Kingsley as Gandhi? That's like my first image. Is like him.
My first thought
as Gandhi.
My first thought is Depends are pretty underrated.
Well, it's gonna hold you up, man. Right? It's gonna keep you. What was that? That's like a "Oops, I crap my pants" kind of thing. You ever seen "Oops, I crap my pants"?
that was a good SNL sketch. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching some SNL sketches like that.
A whole bucket of iced tea.
Yeah.
Diaper.
Well, because they would show that in commercials. They would, for some reason, show iced tea.
Like Tim and Eric definitely got a lot of influence from those little animated shorts and weird SNL skits.
The SNL commercials, and they took it to like a different extreme, which was funnier. But
like that's Cinco, like that's Cinco.
I really love the caveman lawyer, with Phil Martman, where it's just like I'm just a caveman lawyer, like that. That's that whole bit I love.
The Geico people are a ripoff of that. That Eric Andre was actually one of the Geico cavemen.
Oh yeah, it's true. Oh no, Nick Kroll, not Eric Andre, Nick Kroll.
No, they both were.
Really?
Eric Andre did like this weird, it was like this like shitty kind of bit part on the caveman stuff.
I mean, I know Nick.
There's actually a lot of good people involved in all that caveman stuff.
I mean, I know Nick Kroll was. Hold on, I'm trying to find.
Yeah, Eric Andre was also on the caveman stuff too. I watched that from. I saw that from when he was on the Tom Green show.
So Eric Andre, I found this out. I had to search this up. He did work as a live appearance caveman, but he was never in any of the TV shows or at like shot things. That was Nick Kroll, who was on the TV show, but he did work live appearances as a caveman.
Yeah, he was like a mascot.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what he's saying. Like he got that part and he was able to do it. Just a good part at the time, right? You're gonna turn that down? I don't think so.
What's that show with him in the the guy from it's not Last Man on Earth, no. So
What show with him? I know he was in a few things.
Jay Baruchel, that guy from
Oh God, are you talking about that? I know you're talking about.
It was on FX for a little bit.
Man Seeking Woman, right? Wasn't he in that?
Yeah. He played his best friend.
That show sucked. That show really sucked. I never liked it.
But it was like really weird too.
Yeah, he's in that new Blackberry movie, Jay Baruchel, which I was like hearing about it and I was like, oh, that sounds fucking horrible. Like it's just like they made a movie.
One of those shows where I had to sit through it at times to get to the show I wanted to watch afterwards.
I think Louis
get that crossover of like having to see parts of it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think Louis was after that show. That's why you probably were watching it because it got paired up with Louis.
What about Always Sunny? I thought Always Sunny was connected.
It could be. They're both on FX, so that could be the case. Yeah, I mean that about rounds out my my list of things here. What do you think? This is a good
a lot of these reviews were pretty believable.
Yeah, no. I went back in time for a lot of them too. I went back in time. I feel like the further you go back with these dates, I feel like the more hitting on. I couldn't because also you got to think about the internet with IMDb. So. You can't go back all the way to 1993.
I would hope that the further back you go, the more legitimate post is. Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't go back all the way. I couldn't go to 93. Unless there's an old review.
Posting. There's nothing to. There's nothing actionable.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's an old review.
You would definitely go back and check out our Jack and Jill review. That was one of the better ones.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Some of the stuff people were saying, I really could not tell if they were trolling or they were serious at all. It was so like either way. Like it could have been like either like a really good fake review or like a really good real one that they didn't know what the fuck was going on. And all that Del Pacino shit.
I think people actually really like that movie. I think people are idiots. I like it.
I like it as just like being so awfully weird and entertaining. It's like
Okay.
Monkey Bone a little bit for me.
People like
It's
this
funny,
fucking
like
shit.
we were talking about like Bedazzled earlier. Like that movie made me feel so weird and awful growing up when I watched that. That movie Bedazzled with Elizabeth Hurley, Brendan Fraser, and just a bunch of randos. I don't know, but that
No,
movie
people like
just
that
I
shit.
don't know. Like, I saw it on like how many times, even though it's not funny.
No,
But
it
it's
was
like
not
one of
funny,
those things
man.
where they'll put on. It
Yeah.
almost it felt like like Duckman vibes, you know, like
Oh
or
yeah, I
the
hated
critic,
Duck
like
Man.
old
Oh, I like the critic.
creepy, weird
I always
Comedy
liked the critic.
Central stuff.
The critic kind of actually I didn't mind so much.
I'm not saying it was bad. It just made me feel like gross
Oh yeah,
and weird.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, and like whole movies too. Just that whole like
Yeah.
awful animated stuff where it's like South Park. Clearly, the animation is secondary to the writing and performances and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
This is a vehicle for it.
Jewish New York.
Yeah, the son in the fucking critic always grossed me out just the way he looked.
Yeah,
Super Jewy.
Like a
Come on.
young John Lovitz.
Oh yeah, I mean they nailed that at least. Like
Oh, what's that movie with John Lovitz that he starred in? High School
High School High. I have that on
Did we ever
VHS. It was
see-
I love that
Did we
movie
commentary
actually.
that ever?
No, but I actually do like that movie. Tia
You sure? I
Carrera.
thought we did.
No, I don't think we ever did. I think we brought it up, maybe talking like a few times.
It's like a long lost classic that we should have. Yeah,
I mean,
Tia Carrera. Yeah, she had a really good run with all the Wayne's World stuff, and
yeah, I mean that's a good bit out of her era. You had Anthony.
No, I
I
think
remember
it
all
was
the.
something
This
else
was
maybe.
it was a spoof on It was a spoof on what's that movie? Fuck, is it Dangerous Minds? It was a spoof on Dangerous Minds. You know
The
the
one
one
with Michelle Pfeiffer.
yeah, it was a big spoof on that.
And then remember the soundtrack with Coolio?
Yeah, I bet you they talk about it right here on this Wikipedia soundtrack. Dangerous Mind. It went triple platinum because of Coolio, because of Gangster Paradise. But we all know what was the better version of that song, right? Come on.
You want to hear like
Give it up.
A weird,
Give it up to Weird Al.
very vivid memory I have
Amos
of
Paradise.
hearing Gangsta Paradise for the first time?
what's your memory of that?
I don't know how old I was, but I was in some pottery thing with Sante, and then we painted like some stuff to look like Mortal Kombat characters that were made out of clay. And then driving home, his mom put on the cassette tape of the movie, and we listened to the Gangster Paradise cassette tape of like the soundtrack on tape.
How does the hook go again? And we got that can't stand the most our life.
Living in a gangster's
been
paradise,
spending most their lives.
Been spending most of their lives
living in.
Who's
that guy who was the fat guy? Who's the fat guy who did it? Whatever happened to him?
I don't know. I think he's like one of those people where it's like Milli Vanilli. Like they'll have that guy go do the audio, and then they'll have like Milli Vanilli come in and pretend to be him.
Yeah, let me search this. Gangsta's Paradise fat guy. Let's see if I can find him.
You know what? Hopefully this guy is probably like so happy that we're even looking this up right now. If only he knew.
Larry Sanders is his name. His name is Larry Sanders. Larry Sanders.
Comedy routine right now.
Larry Sanders, Gangster's Paradise. Another Larry Sanders.
LV?
Yeah.
No, LD.
Larry Sanders, Gangster's Paradise.
If you think it's a better combo, Jerry and George or Larry and Leon?
Oh, I think Larry and Leon, just because he's like he's not even supposed to be there. He's just there. He's eating that Chinese food in his fucking room. That's like the best part. It's like all his family moves out, and then Larry's like, "Oh, you're gonna go?" And he's like, "No, I'm fucking eating this Chinese food in my room." Like, that's
Actually,
basically
that's the one
why
with
he stays there.
Kramer and so it's more like Jerry and Kramer or Larry and Leon is the
Yeah.
parallel.
I always liked
Because
the Kramer episodes though. The Kramer Merv Griffin episode is one of my favorites.
I like the one where he goes back to work at the bagel place.
Yeah, that one's good. Oh man, I love that show. I think that's a good note for us to end this on Kramer stuff. But I gotta head out, man. That was a good stream. We got some stuff in here. We talked about Star Wars a few times. We talked about The Witcher, Mandalorian, John Leguizamo groveling to get apart, which is, I guess, typical John Leguizamo now.
I thought John Leguizamo had theater stuff to fall back on. Didn't he
Oh,
have like a one-man show that he was touring?
Oh no, man, he's got nothing to fall back on to. Come on. I mean, before he was in that Deadly Night, I haven't seen him in fucking like 10 years. You know, like he's not doing shit.
That's a long time.
I don't know, man. Maybe he's got some like a kid that plays baseball. He's got that Latin stuff to him. I don't know. Does he have any offspring that are in the MLB or no? I don't know.
Oh, like Danny Almonte, pretend to be 10 years old when you're like 16 or 18.
Yeah. Are there any celebrity born kids that are in the MLB, or did that not happen yet? Or is it all post athlete? Like
Vladimir
athlete
Guerrero
sons?
Jr.'s son is an all-star.
Right, but he's like an athlete's son. There's no like, I see what you're saying. Former athlete's son kind of shit.
You mean like a celebrity son?
Yeah, like a celebrity son, like something like that. Yeah.
Deion Sanders, I guess.
Is he a baseball player? His son is a baseball player?
No, his son's a quarterback who's like Lamar Jackson type.
Really? I know.
And he could have gone to like much better division schools, but he stayed around his dad's stuff to help him up to the job he got at Colorado.
NFL draft is in a few days, right?
Deion Sanders went from like a not like nothing school, but like, you know, division whatever, like it's not even competitive, to Colorado, which is like huge, you know.
The draft is in a few days, right?
It's Thursday.
Oh my god.
7 or 8. Yeah, I thought it was Saturday.
Well, it goes into Friday. Saturday.
I thought it was like a weekend thing.
Thursday is like the first round, and then Friday is like second and third, and then Saturday has the rest of the bullshit.
Do you have any bets at all?
I guess you could bet on it. I didn't even take a look at this bets. Let me see what FanDuel is saying.
I thought about it, but I don't really know what's going on. I mean, I have a vague idea, and I can link some things about it, but I don't have a good understanding of it.
So it looks like Bryce Young is going to be number 1 above CJ Stroud. I thought CJ Stroud was like the number 1 pick for a little bit. Oh, I see.
Well, the whole thing is Bryce Young is 5'10".
Yeah, he's small.
Stroud is like 6'2", 6'3". So people are trying to decide if Bryce Young's going to be like a better Kyler Murray and be worth it, or you just go for like the wannabe Cam Newton, Josh Allen physical archetype of somebody who's like 6'4", who can run, has huge arm, you know, like Michael Vick. You know,
there's some interesting specials here. Interesting specials. You can bet on total number of quarterbacks drafted in round 1. That the over under is 4.5.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like all this like NFL draft stuff is really interesting, and I have tons of episodes I can share you on it, but I haven't had the balls to like really go all in and put money up front on it.
Number of running backs drafted 1.5 in the first round. I don't think so.
I think
maybe 1 will be.
Well, 1 is like automatic. Who's
could be 2
out of Texas called Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of comps to Saquon Barkley as far as like just pre-draft stuff and, you know, just freak athletic scores that have been unparalleled other than him. And Saquon Barkley was drafted when? It was like 5 years ago, 6.
Right. Yeah, it was about no. It
So
was like 4,
that
maybe 3,
archetype,
maybe 4 years ago. It hasn't been that long.
yeah. So that archetype does not come along that often to where
It's true.
It's similar to where like at Penn State, Saquon clearly could have been more of a receiving threat, but he was underutilized to where this guy has been like a predominantly pure runner at Texas, even though he has the ability to be like almost Christian McCaffrey like as a receiver.
Okay, interesting.
So
Not bad.
getting steamed up so hard.
He'll be a fantasy
Yeah,
guy
exactly.
for
Like
sure.
if he exactly. Like if he lands in a good spot for fantasy, he'll be a first to third round pick.
Oh damn.
It just
okay.
depends on.
So he's like a high profile guy right now, especially for fantasy. Shit.
Well, I mean, you know, the highest payout I had for football was when I got Saquon as rookie year. So if you can hit on that like unknown,
Wait,
you know,
is this guy Bill Robinson
thing?
from Texas? Or Bijan Robinson? Bijan?
It's not Bill. It's
Bijan? Bijan?
Yeah.
What a name. What a great name. Bijan. Like the dog. Is he named after the dog?
I think it's spelled differently.
And then you got Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama. He's
actually getting mocked.
Oh wow.
To,
I actually like this under I like this under 1.5 because it looks like it's just going to be Bijan in the first round, and the second round is going to probably be a couple, maybe 2. Maybe Jahmyr Gibbs, Alabama, and then Roshan Johnson, Texas.
He's also on Texas, by the way.
That's interesting.
Texas had.
He's older. He's the senior. One's the junior. One's the senior. Both similar.
There'll be like running back committees that are insane that turn out to be, you know.
Well, here's the thing, man. Giants might be getting a running back. What I hear. They might be looking at some running backs.
You think Saquon's gone?
There's talk that there is talk. Well, he does. You know, Saquon said he's not coming to practice. He's not showing up until he gets a contract.
And but that's just like holdout stuff.
No, I don't think they really want. No, I think it's like trade me kind of stuff. To tell you the truth, I think it's like trade me stuff. So the Giants might be in a spot for that Alabama guy, Gibbs. They might be right in the spot for him. A late first.
He doesn't sign the franchise tag.
He doesn't play for the year, which he
so
could.
He's willing to set out a year.
I kind of feel like, you know what? I don't think that's if I was him, that's not a bad idea. He could sit out a year and still be, you know, peak free agent type guy. You know, people would still want to sign him because they know what he is. And now he's like even more healthy because he sat out a year. You know, he's not going to be much worse. You know, like he's still a freak athlete. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I think the Giants are very stupid to not sign him instead of Jones, but that's my own take. I fucking hate Daniel Jones.
You should try and do a pre-draft stream.
Yeah, we could. Or we could do a live thing. We could do a live thing while it happens on Thursday, maybe. I have to see what I'm at on Thursday. Yeah, that'd be cool.
But I want to see the Oscar stuff. I want to see the odds before weird shit starts happening.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow we can do something. Tomorrow we could do something more with odds on this. That'd be kind of good.
Yeah, I'll try and just get like a whole bunch of notes and stuff for tomorrow. Just to have a basis of what's going on because everything's going to change.
Oh yeah, it's going to change quick.
Remember Mac Jones was supposed to go
first round, right? Like early
49ers. Yeah, like
then he went late first round. Or did he go second round?
Right. He was supposed to go like 1 or 2.
Yeah, he was like in the top. Everyone's talking about that. Yep. All right, well, we'll talk about that more tomorrow. I gotta head out, man.
I can
It's a good
go.
stream.
All
Got Leguizamo.